Joe Pettigrew. Emotions on sharing my life story. Very excited to share to the world, my family and friends. Here is where my adventure begins, in my hometown, Wardell, Missouri. I will begin to tell you all I know about this small town, where I was born in an old rundown shack, just outside of town by the bank of what is known as a little river. We were poor, not having money or things like some of the families that lived right across that little river. No, we did not have much, but we did have love. Coming from a family of 7 kids, we were barely able to have food for our house full of hungry, crying eyes and little stomachs. Somehow, we managed to survive. But at the age of 5, my dad died, which left a void in our lives and our hearts like no other you will ever experience in life. Somehow, by giving love to family and a few friends that lived close by, we were able to survive. My memory begins at this early age, being only 5 years of age. It stood out vividly. I was born 1952, my dad died 1957, verified with birth and death. Certificates. I am Joe, my dad was Oscar, and we carry the same last name, Pettigrew, that I have come to be proud of. With him dying and me being so young, I often wonder how it would have been, if he only lived. My mom did the best to struggle with a house full of GRY kids, dirty faces with mouths to feed daily. You see, back in those years, we did not have pluming like we have now. Only later in life did this come along. Thus, the reason we had dirt on our faces, you could see that, but the hunger could only be felt from someone who truly has not eaten for so long. It would show on my siblings' faces, as it did on my mom's, because she had not eaten either. Given how hungry we all were, she would spread what we managed to find around to all those hungry eyes peering up at her. My mom, her name was Delpha, the strongest woman I ever knew, and I loved her so. She was born in 1919, my elder sister Mildred was born in 1944, and another daughter Della was born in 1947. After this came to older brothers, 1949 Doyle, 1950 Donald, 1952 I was born, my name is Joe. Later, my sister Nancy came along in 1950, then Violet my youngest sister in 1957. After 7 years and remarriage we had a little half-brother, his name Doyle Monroe Quinn, who was born in 1964. We lived in Crockett, Arkansas at the time, December 31st, 1964, he arrived. Now being 2024, Doyle, the oldest boy and the youngest boy, Doyle Monroe, has passed. My stepdad and mom and a stepsister have died. Not forgetting my real dad by blood died early on in 3 Joe Pettigrew. 1957, and me being only 5 at the time, this put me at my age of this writing 72 years, 2 months. My heart is not good diagnosed with congestive heart failure, and diabetes, very seldom I feel good. But I will continue writ ing things about how this life has been. Today as I begin to write about my memories, there are many things that I recall. March 22/2024. I got up at around 3 this morning, and I began to write. Somehow my memories come flood ing all around me, and I must begin, not knowing where to start. I started at the beginning of life as I know it. This yellow tulip stands alone as a memory at this writing only for memory of my life and those who shared it. When I was rich, looking back at my childhood, L felt poor. Not realize ing that we were rich. We did not have money, but we did have love. Looking back at life and the tough times with all this love is what makes a happy life. Not having them on. EY, and the things found out there in the world that off. Heirs had made me realize what we had was more important than all the riches one would accomplish later in life. Hard times and hard work with love would carry me through the rest of my life. Yes, and that is what makes life worth more than all the riches. Just a small lad in the beginning, I felt so poor L not having the things others had to play with. My life story for, like a bicycle or good clothes to wear, a coat to wear in the coldest of winter. Things others took for granted. I would wear things like this. To survive the cold, like wearing 2 or 3 old shirts or pants found at the local dump. And if a pair of socks, sometimes of the same color, I would find and wear. Yes, I was rich, not knowing I was poor. I had love, and that was how I felt. So rich with what I had. Not what I did not have. Time as it passes cannot be brought back as it once was. but the memory of it will live in my heart and mind forever. It is good to be alive with my memories of life that are so vivid and true, where I am from and who I am, a place in my heart at that time. Nor distance can be erased. Did you know? In between every post, along with every video, I do my writ ing. Mind you, I am not a writer, just a man that writes. I write from memories, jotting down what I recall from my experience along with others. Memories known for my love of family and friends I hold dear to my heart. I have been blessed. We moved around this area of the Missouri Bootheel to many adjacent towns when I was young. Went to schools in different counties, always moving to find a better life, a new job any type. 5. Joe Pettigrew. Of work that could be found, be it picking cotton, cotton chopping the bean fields on farms wherever they could be had. Making a living in the early days of my life. Making friends knowing it would be for just a short while. Moving, always moving. I often wonder how all my friends are doing now. I still think of them today, and they will never be erased from my memories. Why do you say this, you ask, because I remember the good times of my life, and they were a part of it. Devoted friends, I knew where we shared laughter and sadness together. I tell you this, the love of having good friends has carried me through till today, 3/25/2024. My name is Joe Pettigrew, a vigilant, hard-working, now retired American man whose passion for storytelling shines through my YouTube channel. Alongside my loyal wife and companion, Mabel, my anchor, I navigate life in the United States across many ARs of Missouri and beyond with a unique blend of humor and heartfelt insight. My channel celebrates the American way of the past, documenting how things looked back then and now moving forward into a new time in history, yes, where I share my adventures, from bustling cities to serene pictures get. My life story 6. A ways. My videos capture the essence of the American life and hospitality and American diversity, offering viewers a glimpse into my everyday life and my deep connections to the good people that has made America the greatest nation on earth. I did, and will surely get a sore throat from ing so, but it was worth it. I remember when all the kids and adults from years past would cherish the day when the snow began to fall. During Christmas, everyone enjoyed having a little snow ice cream. Laughter was abundant in everyone's household, especially around Christmas throw. Ing snowballs was a good part of the joy, but to grab a pan or bowl to gather snow for making snow ice cream was something all would participate in. Popcorn being strung on the Christmas tree light up from the coil oil lamp after ing popcorn balls for everyone to enjoy. What a treat for all the little girls and boys after getting to read their own special book by the kerosene light. What a night that would be. Of good memories as a child, if everyone could have held in memory from the days of old. Friends I made over a lifetime as a young boy. I may bore you, but I must tell you the story. They are no kin, but I remember 2 boys that went to 7 Joe Pettigrew. School with me back in the early 60s. Their names were Benny and Tucker Lindsay, good friends. Tucker was burnt in a house fire, but survived. He lived over near the chicken farms near Crockett, Arkansas. I lived a short distance on the next hill west of the Crockett store. Mr. Carpenter lived directly across this old gravel road from us, and was also a good man. He raised cattle pigs, a barnyard full of animals, including chickens. He would get up early and drink his coffee around about the same time, 6. And each morning, I would know this, for I rode the bus to Greenway for school every day, and he would be there sitting in his old rock or on the front porch and wave me off.